intros, outros, all that stuff like that. It's gonna be awesome.
Introduce yourself.
I
No,
know.
no, like, come on, we're live.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah, hi!
What is up? What is up? It is me. It is I. I am greatness. Threw me off because it's like we're live all of a sudden. All right.
Counted it down.
I'm the greatest there is, the greatest there was, the greatest there ever will be.
Stop
I
smoking.
am greatness personified. Myself. Yes. Yes. Stony greatness right here coming at you. Thank you very much. Oh, you let me do it? You let me do it? Because it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Go for it. Okay, you done. That's enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bask in the glory that is our King.
Here we go.
Because he is the King, the man, the legend. So come and bend a knee at the King whose crown hangs 2 inches from the ground. He is your King. He is my King. He is King Kevin.
Thank you. That was a lot. No? That was a lot, right? That was a lot.
That was great, wasn't it? That was great. That was awesome.
What's up, everybody? It's me, your guy, King Kevin. I appreciate the accolade. Thank you, Stoney. That was a lot.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So let's jump right on in. So last week we didn't do a show, and that kind of like made us miss a couple opportunities to acknowledge a few things. So tonight we're going to go over a couple of things that we didn't get a chance to speak about last week, and then we got some stuff to talk about for this week. We were on our Instagram, and we were asking people for suggestions about our raunchy conversation, and we got a nice good question that we want to explore. So stick around. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you're liking, you're subscribing. Leave us a comment. Let us know what part of this conversation you enjoyed the most. Join in. There is a live chat, so you guys can join us on a live chat on Facebook and on Instagram. Mom, if you're watching, I'll let you know when to tune out.
Yeah, because you know how we can get.
Yeah, so let's start on, I guess, one of the saddest things to talk about, because we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, which is the passing of Tracy Braxton. She passed of esophageal cancer, I think it was, at the age of 50. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Jussie Smollett. And I'm actually eager to talk about this one because we've had conversations about this before. So I'm eager to talk about this. And one of America's favorite Halloween movies is coming back, and it's coming back with a twist. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then we're going to jump on into our raunchy conversation. I'm just going to read the question to you guys now, and then we'll dive in later on. The question is, why is it so hard to keep a man happy in the bedroom? So when we get to that, we're going to, take that apart a little bit. We're going to dissect that. We're going to unpack it, as they like to say.
So I think that's a great opportunity to let our folks go on Instagram.
Sounds good.
Go
our Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, and we'll talk to you there. Bye. Love you guys. Buy the book now. What a way to end the show.
All right.
Live.
And now we are here fully on our live show. GreatMines Show.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You want to jump in with this, Tracy?
So, all right. So, Tracy Braxton, as we all know, recently passed away. Back on, I believe it was March 11th.
Yes.
Yes, March 11th. I am very sad. Me and her share her birthday. And it was coming up soon. So yeah. It's very sad to see her go. Fellow Aries. And April.
I never knew she was an Aries. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. She was the second oldest of the Braxton women that are all, singers in their own right.
Yeah.
And, at some point they all were, a backup singer for Tony, and they all had their own, careers as a group and all types of things. But yeah, that is, sad. She's survived by her mother, of course, and her sisters.
her
She
husband,
also
her
has a
son,
Yeah,
her
and her husband.
father, her
Yeah.
brother. Because they have a brother as well. So.
Oh wow! Wow,
Yeah.
they have a whole big family that I did not know
And
about.
nieces and nephews and extended family and millions and millions of adoring fans. Tracy, that one hit me hard. Tracy, we love you. Rest in God's heavenly arms, and I'm just I'm weird with this type of situation now because it's like I always hear when people say they're in a better place now or they're not suffering anymore,
Right.
and it's that suffering anymore part that I used to struggle with,
Right.
because I didn't realize until like helping my mom out with some of the things that she's been dealing with, like it's sometimes excruciating, endless pain, and a lot of people don't really, if you're not struggling with it or going through it with someone who is struggling, you really don't know how hard that is.
Right.
So my heart really goes out to the Braxton family.
You do have that, and especially when you see somebody, and I watch, my dad, go from, the superhero, to, this very fragile,
Right.
being, and it's shocking when you see people who, are, your heroes and everything else like that do that and everything, and mortality, it brings mortality into picture. It really, it hurts because you don't want to, and life in general, and the way I look at that is that life in general, honestly, life in general is suffering. Let's be real. Life in general is suffering because in some way, shape, or form, it's something about your life, no matter if you are the richest person in the world or the poorest person in the world, that you are just not happy with, and you are just miserable, and you just loathe it, and you're suffering under the weight of just this one aspect of your life not being correct or not being, right. And once you do pass, you don't have that worry anymore. It's like all suffering. So and that's the way I've always looked at it, as okay, well, you're right, because I have to worry about
I think the point in
I don't gotta worry about that no more.
I think the point in even mentioning stuff like that is for the living. It's not so much for the dead. It's for the living, to give you some type of comfort and peace of mind. Like, you don't want to see your loved ones suffering and struggling. And I mean, when you get down to the last moments, that's not the way you want to remember your loved ones. So you just like try to keep in mind, like they're in a space now that's good for them, and it's not here on this piece of rock that's going to hell. So, again, much love. My condolences.
Yes, it will.
Right.
The sun will eventually swell and
I mean,
off the earth.
Not something that we should expect to see in our lifetimes.
No,
but
that is at least 3 billion years away from now. But it will happen. So scientifically.
So let's get to this next conversation that I have had at the tip of my tongue since it became a story.
And now, all the things that you done had at the tip of your tongue. This story is amazing. That is whatever.
Leave it to Stoney. Thank you. So Jussie Smollett. We've talked about Jussie Smollett multiple times before for multiple reasons.
You haven't had just the story about Jussie Smollett.
Mm-hmm.
Just the story. This story about Jussie Smollett been at the tip of your tongue.
Well, this particular story, yeah, I'm just giving.
I'm just saying, because it's like we transitioned to Jussie Smollett, and we were talking about things at the tip of your tongue. I just didn't want to leave the impression.
No, Jussie Smollett has not been at the tip of my tongue. No, he has not. No, that's not what we were saying. I didn't even think that, Stoney.
I'm just clearing up because there's a section who are dirty-minded like me.
That's
that
true.
Would have thought like that.
That is true. Okay. So, this story about Jussie Smollett has been at the tip of my tongue for a long time, because when the news first broke that he was in Chicago going to a store at 1 o'clock in the morning, got jumped, robbed, a noose tied around his neck, bleach thrown on him by racist white Trump supporters. And as the investigation continued, let me just say this. When the news first broke, everyone felt like, no, justice for Jussie. And then people started digging. It's like, wait, we don't believe him. And it was interesting that people didn't believe him. Because at first it wasn't much evidence to support anything other than at first when people first started talking, but then evidence started to pop up. Certain dots in the story was just missing, or certain things was just missing in the story. And then here comes the two brothers that were allegedly hired by Jesse to enact this horrendous act on him for the sake of publicity. Publicity stunt. Got national news involved. Police spending time on investigations to find these perpetrators that, again, allegedly were hired by Mr. Smollett. I wasn't having it. I was not believing it. So I met Jesse twice. The first time it was in passing. We just happened to be at the same space at the same time. It was a big event, so nobody we didn't know each other, so and the second time I met Jesse was literally at the premiere of The Way to Kevin, a documentary in Atlanta at Morehouse College. I was premiering my documentary live, and he was premiering his actual debut short film called Purple Pants, about this kid that wore purple pants because he was different, and it was about accepting one way or another. After the premieres of our films, everybody went to Blake's, I believe it was, on Piedmont, or whatever that store or restaurant was on that corner, one way or another. We all sat there, had great conversation. Jesse and I actually became cool. We began to chat on the phone. It wasn't romantic. It was just checking in, artistry, creative stuff. It was cool. So when this story popped up, I'm like, I don't know Jesse personally, but the person that I did get to know as much as I got, that don't sound like him. It didn't. That his energy did not give me that at all. So for a long time, I'm Team Jesse. And then all this other evidence started popping up. I'm like, oh damn, no, Jesse, no, no.
Wow.
So that's why I've been Team Jesse so long, because I actually was able to build. So Jesse and I were chatting from the release of my documentary in 2013. Was it April 2013? I think is when we did the premiere. Up until mid-season of the first season of Empire. We would still chat back and forth, and then that's when he got really big.
For his britches and was
I wouldn't even say look. So let's talk about Tyra real quick. There are family members who are upset with her because she's being successful or because she's winning, and I don't think that she owes a debt to, especially not in my family. In our family, she doesn't owe a debt, and I'm talking about Dominique Jackson from Pose, Electra. She doesn't owe a debt to anybody in our family, because Tyra, it was like my dad. She had her own thing going with her, but whenever anybody in the family needed her, she was always there, even to her detriment. And now that she's winning and she's spending time and focused on her,
right.
How dare anyone get upset because she's winning?
Happy and she's married.
Right. Remarried, because the first one wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Remarried.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Topic for another show.
Yeah. So, with Jesse, it's first off, Jesse is a Smollett. You guys know it's just Journey Smollett Bell. She was also Denise on fucking on Full House. Excuse my language. You have to bleep that one out.
Yeah.
We on YouTube now.
We're on YouTube now.
But my point is, he had a name from back in the 90s. Mighty Ducks, I believe he was on, and he was on a Disney movie.
She was, yeah.
No, he was. I think it was the Mighty Ducks.
No, I know.
Look
she
it up.
was.
Look it up. Jesse Smollett was in one of those movies. It was a hockey movie on Disney. Then he was on The Skinny with Patrick Ian Polk. He produced a movie called The Skinny, and Jesse Smollett was one of the main characters in that. So Jesse had a name long before, but when he got prime time on Fox, it was oh hell, he made it, and I was celebrating. I wasn't too upset that I didn't hear from him anymore, because hell, I can't guarantee that I will be able to reach out to everybody that I knew way back when. I'm not knocking nobody. I'm not saying anyone is beneath me or anything like that. But he's a busy man. He's working. He's making money, and you got to constantly do things to keep that bag flowing.
Right.
I'm not mad at him. Anyway, it just wasn't Jesse that I met. Now we have his trial date come up. his sentencing. Did you see his remarks at the court?
I did not see his remarks at the court.
After the sentencing, he was extremely emotional, and he said, "If I die while I'm in their custody, I did not commit suicide." And that's all he kept repeating. If I die while I'm in their custody, I did not commit suicide. It was very dramatic. It was very emotional. Somebody had to pull him back. I think his attorney had to pull him back. I'm like, okay. The cop came behind him, and he's like, "Jan, I respect your judgment, you know." And it was a moment when he repeated, "You know, I have to go to jail," and you heard his voice crack, and he broke, and that kind of hurt, because men were not made to be in cages. We just weren't. So, regardless of the offense, I think justice should be served, but there should be a better system to rehabilitate and to.
I mean, I think that the Jussie Smollett case is also a good thing to look at as far as criminal justice reform in general, because at the end of the day, I get it, you know what I mean? Like, even if you subscribe to the belief that this person organized this and, you know, did all this for a publicity stunt, at the end of the day, you have to ask, the fundamental question is, why would anybody who was at the height of where he was, you know what I mean?
That was the height of his career.
Even though they were, at the time, they were talking about Empire, was like, oh, is this character going to get killed off or written off the show? And they were talking about him asking for way more money and stuff like that. And I guess you wanted to get people on your side, regardless of wherever you fall on it. Regardless, at the end of the day, there's something fundamentally wrong if you feel like you needed to do that.
I want to say something.
In order to, you know, in order to gain what you were looking to gain.
I want to say something about that a little bit, but my brain got to come back to it because, you know, we were praying off camera, so I'm still a little with the Lord. You made me keep saying what you're saying to come back to me.
But no, I'm like, there's something fundamentally wrong there, and so you gotta be able to see the situations that require, you know, a different kind of support outside of a more penal or punishment style of support, because there's certain people who really deserve in their situation to be heard and treated for any type of mental, you know, issues, and we've gotten away from that as a society because it's become more profitable to just stick people in cages and throw 3 meals at them and, you know, and just, you know, let them outside on occasion and then just stick them back in the cage. It's gotten more profitable to do that than to actually offer the holistic treatments that a lot of people had available to them way back in the day. Like, way back in the day. Like, people weren't thrown in jail back in the day. If you were crazy, you actually were taken to the crazy hospital.
I was reading something about like the witch trials back in Salem back in those days. How like if a woman grew a mole, she was a witch. If she was thought to be
I'm talking
promiscuous.
about like the 1900s, the 1912s.
Yeah, because the eras that I'm talking about is more like the 1700s, 1600s. But my point is like how crazy some of the laws and how civilization has decided to demonize people and based on what. Now, I figured out what I was about to say. First thing I want to say is because I'm passionately speaking on behalf of my opinion in favor of Jussie, but I do want to make sure that it's clear. Like, this is just my opinion,
right?
And it's not to say that my opinion is fact because it's an opinion. Some people may not agree with me, and I support that, and I welcome that. Right. So, like, I don't want anyone to base their opinion off of mine. I mean, if something else that speaks to you, then okay.
And I'm not saying that was my opinion. I genuinely don't feel like that, but that is what the state of Illinois presented as this was just a publicity stunt.
I'm glad you said that.
You know,
because that was the second point.
You know, because it's like, but in 150 days in jail, granted, it's not a long time in jail for somebody who spent, you know, a lot more than that in jail, and you know, I'm very, you know, forthright with, you know, the fact that I spent locked up, and a significant amount of time locked up, and it's like, there are, like, the reason why I was there was it because of the fact that I deserved to be locked up. I honestly, genuinely needed help. And the good thing about it is that I was strong enough to work it out through my own ways. Had a little bit of support here or there along the way, but for the most part, I got over my demons, you know what I mean, all through hard work on myself, dropping baggage and stuff like that, knowing what hills and everything not to die on, learning the meaning of that phrase, honestly, changed a lot about who I am. Is that a hill that I'm willing to die on? That's how I look at every situation now. Is that a hill that I'm willing to die on? Nope. Fuck it. Look at me. I'm all, you know what I mean, now. Getting us all bleep.
So the other part I wanted to say, because the reason why people started to incriminate Jesse is because I used the word myself. It was a publicity stunt. So if it was a publicity stunt because there were rumors about Empire being canceled or his character being written off, X, Y, and Z, I actually tend to not want to believe that. Because at the time, Empire was one of the top shows on Fox. And Jussie Smollett was actually building such a wonderful brand for himself that if for whatever reason he did get cut from Empire, he would have easily been able to find more work. He didn't have to play the sympathy card. He's a talented actor and singer. Why did he need that type of publicity stunt so he wouldn't be cut from a show that was going to see its end eventually anyway? That doesn't make sense to me. He has work. So, I don't know if he's ever said this publicly to other people, but I don't even know if I should be saying this because he said it to me. But Alfre Woodard is his godmother. Journey Smollett is his sister. He has other famous connections. He would not struggle for work. Trust me, if he ever really needed work, all he had to do was hey Tyler Perry. So, up until then anyway.
Like, girl, come on.
Right. That's right up Tyler's alley.
I bet.
Allegedly. Anyway, so I personally don't believe, but now to support my thoughts and my theories is this appeal. Because he was sentenced to 150 days. I think he was in jail for about a week before.
He was in jail for a week, yep.
Before they said, okay, we're going to release him and we're going to do an appeal and further investigate.
Yeah, the appeals court took it up. And
so when you right,
virtually releases him legally.
So my thing is, if that's the case, because they could have denied his appeal, but they said, okay, you must have something worth listening to. So let's continue to watch. Let's be careful not to cast judgment until all the chips are falling.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I think that, you have to really, let the justice system with everybody be, Jesus. And we're so quick with our media and everything, and the way that our media is, and the way that we are so quick to judgment naturally as a community to just, oh, they're guilty. Oh, that's why we have a court system, so that, the cooler heads can prevail and there can be an objective look at the situation and an objective, adjudication of the actual facts of the case. And then let the chips fall where they may, at that point. And that's all that anybody has a right for, and that's the whole basis of our justice system, is that everybody has a fair shot with just the facts, amongst the other people like them.
But you have to hope.
Given a chance to say, yes, you're guilty, or no, you're innocent in that situation.
You would hope that was the case. But we also know that the justice system fails us, people of color.
Right, yeah.
And then even more people of color who are LGBT.
Yeah. And
poor people too, but I'm saying, like, Jussie Smollett is black and gay. He's not poor.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So
granted, so he has a very, 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 very useful, the number one leg up that you want to have in the American justice system is a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Because if you have a whole lot of money, you can beat anything. O.J. Simpson.
So let's look at this. I don't even know that within the sentencing, the harsh part was the 150 days in prison. I think it was the probation.
Right.
What was it? How many days? How many months?
I think it was a couple years, honestly.
Yeah, probation.
Probation. I think it was about like 3-4 years or something like that.
Yeah,
probation.
I think it was 3. Because 3 stands out to me. So
because I mean, if the counts that he would, but you got to look at it like this: the counts that he was convicted of, all carry at least a year worth of prison. Now it's up to the judge to, at the maximum 2 years of prison. You know what I mean? I think the heaviest charge was 2 years. So at the worst, a judge could say that you're going to serve these consecutively and line them all up. And I forgot how many charges it was.
I don't remember.
You know what I mean? But if he lined them all up, he's in there for a good probably. That's the thing. I don't know how many charges. I can't even say. But if you line them all up, that's bad.
Right.
If he says concurrently, meaning that you can stack them on top of each other,
right? Then
that's not as bad, But then what I found out is that this judge basically looked at it, and the judge has the freedom to do this legally, to look at a sentence, look at the maximum and all the options, and then within that structure a sentence that they deem appropriate. As of late, that hasn't been happening because it's all been about filling up the jails. You know what I mean? But I kind of like it that there are a lot more judges, nowadays who are going to take, what they call in the courtroom jurisprudence and, really edit things. But like the 150 days, yes, that's a really
yeah.
And you're not going away for a while. You just keep your head low. Honestly, you're like, he could have negotiated for a really cushier prison. The lighter of the prisons.
So I watched a really small clip on the Breakfast Club with Flame Monroe talking about he was asked to go to the psych ward or something like that for his protection. So, because basically, if you ask to be in confinement,
and honestly, I think that's a good thing because there's obviously something mentally. There's some mental issue there. That would have made this person even concoct the scheme, even if that's what you believe, and if that is the position of the state, and he is going to be in custody of the state, then it is the state's job and it is the state's opportunity while he's in the custody of him to try and get to the root of those mental issues and to figure out, what kind of support they can do so that he doesn't come back in.
What it makes me think about? It makes me think about those kids who go around shooting in malls and schools, and then of course says, "Oh, he had mental health issues," and he gets a slap on the wrist. Now, I have for long said, I wish a black person would get up there and say something like that and let them actually win based on a mental illness or insanity or something like that. That would be kind of dope. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about, and my opinion has nothing to do with their legal situations anyway. Justy's not crazy.
Well,
maybe emotionally and mentally scarred, but he ain't insane.
And I'm a firm believer that if you shoot up anything, whether you white, black, or anything, if you shoot up something,
hell yeah, it's something mental.
You know what I mean? It is something mental, but you also cross the threshold of it being just something in your head. It's one thing to have drawings and fantasize and stuff like that. That's something mentally that we can talk about and probably work out, and so that you don't act out on that. But once you act out on it, you cross the threshold, you have to be locked away at that point.
Right. You're a threat to society.
You have to be confined. You are a threat to the greater public. Yeah. You cannot exist in society. You can't. You can't coexist with society because you cause destruction to it. Like, boom, we got to separate you so that society can, exist. But that's where I draw the line there. Now, Justice Smollett, did not do anything.
I mean, if he actually did it, he harmed himself.
Yes, and that's the point. Like, why would you set something up for you to be in harm?
That is true.
Like, I don't put myself in any type of situation where, I'm in pain. You know what I mean? We're going to get into some crazy stuff that I'm willing to do later,
Can't wait for that part. I want to know what you want to do.
But one of my big things is that I don't ever want to put myself in a situation where I can even feel the slightest little bit of pain because I don't like pain. I don't like it.
Pain hurts.
Yes. Like, and full disclosure, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I've attempted suicide before. you know, a couple times.
Whoa.
It's always been, you know,
Whoa.
less painful. I'm just saying, like, trying to equate it because he caused bodily harm to himself. And it's like, Stoney, have you ever tried to cause bodily harm to yourself?
We gotta
And it's
unpack
like,
this
yes.
off camera.
I'm just, yeah,
no.
what? I'm well over that, guy. It's baggage that's at the bottom of the sea. Like, not in me, it's out in the ether.
That's
I've left
awesome.
It.
I love to hear that.
So, you know, yeah, whatever. Thank you. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, full disclosure, speaking from somebody who, you know, who had the idea of harming myself. I didn't even want to do it with pain. Let you know the lengths that it takes for somebody to concoct a scheme to say, "Oh, give me a black eye." Throw some bleach on me too, and then tie this noose. It'll really sell it. You know, like there has to be something wrong. There is what I'm saying. Has to be something wrong because all of that for what?
All assuming.
And then you make money with this. There's no reason. There's no guarantee that all this is going to be okay.
That this is what actually happened.
Yes.
Because what if it comes out that this actually happened to him? That these two guys that came forward was brought out to say we were this and that. They were paid off. Jussie looked stupid. Who did he upset?
So it was some white people that
I'm saying, what if that was the circumstance? Like, what if at the end of this, when everything is said and done, that this all comes to light, that this is the truth. What he said actually happened. These people were hired. He was framed. He upset some people somewhere behind the scene, and then, because he spoke out a lot about 45. He spoke out a lot.
It could be Donald Trump.
And I'm not saying that it's him. He has a lot of people.
What are you gonna do, Kevin?
Please don't. No, stop.
You caught me. Kid.
Again, these are just my opinions and theories. Do not base them on anybody's legal or factual anything. These are just my theories and opinions.
No, I'm here. Former President Donald Trump.
You can go. No. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to end the show right there because that man will not.
About this. I love your show, Kev. We love Kev.
Nope, don't love me. Nope, we good. Nope.
He's great.
Stop.
We love Kevin.
Stop. I don't have a political view.
He's about as tall as a redwood. Laying down in my right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I know. Former President Trump. Yes. Thank you.
You done?
But I didn't.
Oh my gosh. Can you please stop? Stoney.
I'm sorry. I just want to set the record straight. Kev, we love you. We know it's your show. I'm just here to set the record straight. Like this rigged election. I want to set the record straight about Jussie Smollett. Had nothing to do with it. We love him. Don't say gay in Florida.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you.
It was Donald Trump.
Yeah, no thank you.
Really? Even the impressions just bother you, really? That's how much Donald Trump just stirs your soul?
Stop. I don't have a political view right now.
Okay.
So.
I don't like Donald Trump. Look.
So.
Need to drink because of Donald Trump.
That just stressed me out a little bit. I typically wouldn't do this. I usually be more classy. I'd be more classy.
He was really nice to you. Gave you all the compliments.
So, my prayers are out for Jussie Smollett that the truth will be revealed for what it really is.
Yeah.
And that justice will be served. Yeah.
It sucks. I don't want to make too much light of the fact that somebody's going to jail, especially a black man. It's very, very sad every time a black man goes to jail, regardless. You know. So, I mean, not when they deserve it. There's some that deserve it, but you know.
That's relative. But that's relative. That's relative.
But in this situation, I feel like some sort of, mental support is more
definitely
warranted than that. You know,
I mean, at this point, whether the accusations are true or false, he definitely needs mental support now, one way or another.
I felt like that from the jump. Like it's not.
No, that was a really valid point.
And that's my whole point of everything that I'm saying. It was like from the jump, it's a mental health case. It's a mental health emergency. It's not crime and punishment. Regardless,
Right.
It should have never been, prosecuted like that. It should be, hey, we're gonna lock you away in a mental place for a couple years just to make sure
That's
that
probably
you're all right.
worse in some circumstances, because you ain't gonna convince me that the people that own the jails don't own the mental asylums.
Right, and then in which case we have
that's
to
a
really
business
look at
too.
ourselves. We got to look at ourselves and really discuss like what we should, where genuinely places are allowed to be for profit. Because in my opinion,
Right.
when it comes to our medical system, when it comes to our defense,
It's for profit.
and when it comes to
not
our
for the people.
education, it should not be for profit at all under any circumstances, because those are the reasons why we prosper as a country and a society. And if we put a price tag on those, then we're just shortchanging ourselves. Because at the end of the day, all the gifts that those things offer to us, as a country, is endless. It's priceless.
Right.
So
Excuse me.
we shouldn't put a price tag on our education, our defense, and our health.
So, that being said, we're gonna move on. I don't have a clever segue for this one, but we're gonna talk about that movie that we mentioned in our preview. That's coming
Oh,
back.
I have a segue. I just came up with it.
Go for it.
All right. So, and
one
speaking of three, and those were good 3 points, right?
Okay.
They were good 3 points, right? So, speaking of threes, right? We're going from 3 points of things that shouldn't be for profit in our society here in America to 3 crazy sisters who came back from the dead, who
Again.
we all love,
Again.
and are coming back.
They are the Sanderson Sisters.
How's that for a segue? That was great. Wasn't
That was cute. That was cute. It wasn't perfect, but it was cute.
It was awesome. A little bumpy, but it was awesome.
So, our favorite Halloween movie, Hocus Pocus, has a 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the original 3 Sanderson sisters are all coming back to reprise their roles as Winifred, Sarah. Wait, no. Wait, Sarah's name was Sarah?
Yep, it was.
And Mary.
I know.
Wow, okay. But this time they're coming back with a twist. Obviously, things have to be modernized. When the first Hocus Pocus movie came out, they didn't even have cell phones. Well, as a general public thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of stuff
And
that
when
was
you're
just
watching
different.
those movies, it's like, it's so weird watching movies where cell phones weren't a thing and people are like searching for phones
Out in the street, like for a payphone. Which I don't know if this next generation or this generation out now will even know what a payphone is. I don't think anybody under 20 would know what 25 maybe could say that they actually seen a payphone.
Right. Yeah, or even used it.
Right. But that all being said, the twist is that they're going to have some alter egos, not alter egos.
So from what I've read,
Doppelgangers?
from what I've read, there's going to be a drag version of the Sanderson sisters. Now, who knows if it's going to be a version of them reenacting their, like it could be set in like the town, and the town is just reenacting the time that they came back, and it's
That
drag
would be a
queens
thing.
who were doing this, or if they do some type of spell and then kind of turn themselves into drag queens.
Oh no, that would be
part of
fun.
the movie,
That would be fun.
and these are the people who they turn themselves into. Who knows?
Oh
Who
my
knows?
gosh, that would be so much fun.
Disney, if that's something that if you're watching and you're like, darn it, we didn't. I am available. I would love to take some of that Disney money.
Well, Disney has Disney Plus, and they create new series all the time. They could easily create a Hocus Pocus drag show.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because then you can't say gay in Florida, so
They wouldn't have to say gay.
Well, yeah.
It's the Sanderson Sisters, just as drag
Yeah.
or drag queens as the Sanderson Sisters. But unfortunately, we have to wait till the Halloween season for us to actually know how this plot is going to unfold.
But we do know who the drag queens are
Oh,
and
yes.
who they will be playing in that movie.
So, as Winifred, we will have the lovely Ginger Minge. As Sarah, we're going to have Kimora Hall. And as Mary, we're going to have my girl, Cornbread Jete. Drag queen and Ginger... Huh?
G-E.
G-E?
G-E.
Okay.
Like
Jite.
G-E.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
But you ain't put the apostrophe in there. It should be apostrophe after the J.
Who cares? You know what it is.
But anyway, Cornbread, first off, is not only a drag queen, she's also a trans woman. And then for them to allow a woman of color to portray a role in such an epic movie as the drag counterpart, Disney. I know y'all got y'all shit with y'all, but this one is a win.
Yeah. They even have, Asian in there too.
Yeah, that was kind of bad of me to not acknowledge that. I'm sorry, because Kimora Hall
is rooting for you.
We were all rooting.
We were all rooting for you.
Yeah, we actually were. Actually, when you walked into the workroom for the first time, I was like, "Oh my gosh, who is she?" And then, but look where you at now, girl. Look where you at now. So that's something definitely exciting that I actually am looking forward to. I'm not really big on a lot of the remakes.
And Ginger Minge,
That's why I wish that they were giving them a lot more time. Like, I don't know how much screen time they're gonna have, but I wish that it was a whole lot more.
Ginge is just Ginge. Ginge is an uncrowned all-star queen, uncrowned drag race winner. Like, RuPaul needs that. There are certain queens, in my opinion, that RuPaul just needs to give a crown to because they fucking deserve it. Oh, excuse me. But that's how passionate I am about it. Because they deserve it. God darn it.
It doesn't work. I think
and Ginge is one of them.
Ginger Minge is like one of the top tier. There is no other queen like her. Like the whole what's the word I'm looking? The whole world of drag as it relates to Drag Race is huge, but in that large vast numbers of drag performers, very few stand out the way Ginger Minge does.
Right, like Ginge is. Ginge is one, Benda another.
Latrice Royale.
Latrice Royale is another uncrowned, person who should have been a champion. Manila Luzon. Juju B.
Yes.
Raven. Like,
but
Detox. The list goes on.
But you know what? In a lot of situations, it's almost like you didn't get the contract, but you got what you needed. Because you didn't get that contract, you got the freedom and you got the recognition, and you're going to make your money. You ain't stuck in a 2-year contract with World of Wonders and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it may not be too bad, but...
It might not be too bad. Apparently, it was terrible for Tyra Sanchez, because Tyra Sanchez doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, like, that individual does not even do drag anymore. You will not find a drag show with Tyra Sanchez anymore.
Apparently, that individual is also straight now, too.
Okay. Ain't my business. But I think... Tyra isn't the only one who had bad treatment. Tyra's just the one who was like, I ain't dealing with y'all shit. Not only the only one, she's the first one. And she went hard, so therefore she got hit back kind of hard. I mentioned someone earlier, Willem, because Willem had a couple disputes
also
with them.
Somebody who I feel is an uncrowned champion, in my opinion.
So we can go on, and we were going to talk about Drag Race, but we're not going to do it right now.
Speaking of Cornbread, I mean, she did have some news come out though recently.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
So, Cornbread was on season 14. And I say was, and spoiler alert if you haven't watched any of it. Cornbread wasn't eliminated. Cornbread left the show because of an injury during a challenge. As we've watched in RuPaul Drag Race history, that usually when a contestant injures themselves, they didn't just get disqualified. They didn't not meet the need of the challenge. They just were injured and were put on bed rest, and there was no way for her to continue with the show with the injury that she said with her ankle. So, with that, we are expecting, we're going to see Cornbread again in the future.
Yeah, it happened with Eureka. It happened with, I forgot the other young lady who it happened to, where they got injured and came back.
Sophia Lee Fontaine, something like that? What is her name?
Well, no, she came back during the All-Star season, but not during a regular season of, whatchamacallit.
But the point is, it's been done.
It's been done twice.
So and again, Cornbread is a competitor. She may not be everybody's favorite, but she does good and she understands the assignment. So, okay. We're going to see her in season 15. Oh, no?
No.
Okay, we're going to see her in season 16, right?
No.
Okay, so when they do the next All-Star, they're just going to bring her back?
No.
Wait, what?
No. Cornbread recently tweeted that in a tweet exchange with fans online, a fan recently asked her, "Hey, are we going to see you back for season 15?" And she was very gracious for the experience that she had on Drag Race and was very courteous in her response, but did inform folks that she would not be returning for season 15.
Oh, she decided that she didn't want to come back.
Well, that was answered shortly after, because then another fan tweeted and asked her, "Oh, but what about an All-Star season?" And then she followed up that tweet with and I ain't on nobody's All-Stars, not my choice.
So she's not being brought back. Well, that's been done before too.
Yes.
So we wish Cornbread nothing but the best success and the most prosperous career.
Mm-hmm.
You already have a poppin' ass career. I love you, Cornbread, but congratulations on Hocus Pocus 2. There we go.
Yeah.
Now the question was asked, why is it so damn difficult to keep my man happy in the bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
And that there is a very stacked question, because there's many reasons why a person could claim to be unhappy in the bedroom. Do you want to throw some stuff out there? Because I got a couple of thoughts already that I want to give you a chance.
Well, let's set the parameters of the conversation.
Right, because it's too broad right now.
Yeah,
to me.
And again, please chime in, like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube, comment, share on Facebook, but yeah, like, and really participate here, because we pulled this from you guys on Instagram before the show. But we are going to really look at this really from a bed standpoint, as far as the sex isn't jiving. It isn't as good as it used to. I'm pulling it out. I'm pulling it way out. So like, yeah, it's not as good as it used to. What is it? What is it that's that's not happy and stuff like that. And then especially if you are having turbulence in your relationship, and it's and the main thing that comes up is sex. This may be the topic that you may want to hear about, because that's how we're gonna frame it.
Okay.
We're gonna look at it as actual bed satisfaction, sexual.
And we can talk we're going to talk about 2 points of that. We're going to talk about the person who is unhappy and the person who is supposedly not making the other happy.
Right.
So, again, even in that, if we're just talking about the bed, not even just the bedroom, but the bed, specifically, sexually, there are a lot of reasons. And I'm going to start with the number one reason why a person could not be happy in a bedroom is because of communication. I know this is supposed to be raunchy, but I'm going to come from a very educational standpoint right now with this one. A lot of times, we give our partners what we think they want, or what we want them to have, and not what they say they want. And we also kind of like accept the same in return. We just go with the flow, and it's like, why don't we have conversations about sex?
Right.
If I tell you, I like that you do that, but it would feel better to me if you did it this way, that person is now educated and they know exactly how to please you. And if you're like me, regardless of the role that you're playing in the bedroom, I want to be pleased, yes, but I also want my partner to be pleased. So if I can do something that's going to make you pleased, that's going to turn me on more, because I know I have a specific power now. So making sure that you're having conversations with your partner, I think, is the number one way to keep your partner happy in the bedroom.
Yes, total transparency, total communication, because closed mouth don't get fed, right? And nobody knows what everyone's
full mouths
thinking,
do, but not closed mouths.
Right, and the only way to have a full mouth, right, is to open it. You know, so you got to say something. You know, you can't just think, oh, because we click everywhere else, this person's going to know exactly what I want in the bed.
Perfect.
No, it's not how it works. You got to talk. And talking is fundamental when it comes to any type of relationship, especially a sexual relationship. Like, because, and we got to, stop. We got to get out of the habit of of thinking sexual conversations are taboo or something like that.
It is uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. And by the way, Mom, if you're watching, I forgot to tell you, this is the part where you tune out.
This is the part where you tune out.
Yeah,
Mom. So.
Love you. But that made me forget what was the last thing you just said.
Really having conversations is the key to sexual relationship, but people are so uncomfortable about talking about it, and we shouldn't feel uncomfortable about talking about it at all. Like, that's what I was saying.
Okay, so then I'll move on with this topic with when communicating, don't be afraid to. What they say, all right. So if we were back in the court situation, what the prosecutors typically do is they throw everything they possibly can at you, knowing that everything's not going to stick, but some things will. And you kind of got to have that the same way with the sexual conversation. Now, your partner, if they're not open-minded, they're going to frown up at you. They might say, "Oh, you disgust me, don't touch me no more." But if you have a partner who's open-minded and who is willing to grow with you sexually, then so like the crazy ideas that you have, and make the disclaimer, I don't actually need to do all of these things. Right. I just want to express it to you.
Right.
Because that's typically the case. You had these ideas of something you saw in the porno, and you think you want to try it, but when it comes time to actually do it, it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. No. So it's always a good idea to at least give them the cards they need to have so they can play the game properly. If they don't have all the cards, they can't play the game properly. So when communicating, make sure that you say, "Hey, I like it when you spank me like that." Whatever the case. That's a horrible example, but it's a good example because you get it.
Yeah, like I'll be the person that gives the example because I'm good at those and stuff like that. So it's like, "Hey, sweetheart, don't get me wrong. Everything is great. I love it, but when you're down there giving me fellatio." Gotta keep it PG here.
We still PG. We still here.
When you're down there giving me fellatio, can you next time can you do like this here under my sack, and just do this, twirl it around, and maybe do some of this.
I got another idea to tag on to that.
Lick them a little bit, show them some love.
So another good suggestion would be have your partner so the communication is number one. Making sure that you communicate, making sure you're not afraid to communicate clearly what it is that you desire, or asking questions of your partner what they desire. But another fun thing to do, if you want to kind of be covert about it, have your partner get really comfortable laying in the bed and you explore their body and see where the sensation goes. See what they respond to and what they don't respond to. And pay attention to their body. I don't care if this is the top, bottom, male, female. Pay attention to their body because their body will show signs of, "Oh, I don't like that." So you have to really be aware of what you're doing. Or their body says, "Oh my gosh, that is making me all types of hydrated." So pay attention to your partner's body and explore. And let them do the same to you. Be open. Be reciprocal with these exchanges and things. Like I'm telling you, that is one of the best ways to make. Because it is prudent that we have conversation, but I think it is also very hot and a turn on. If my partner just wanted me to lay down and he just wanted to explore my body, that's kind of hot to me. And then you finding spaces I never told you about. Ooh, I can't sit still right now just thinking about it. Ooh, yeah. We're going to have to cut this broadcast early.
You know what? Before this hurricane gets a but no, exactly. You have to be willing to do that, and I also think that you know, being a person, you know, that is in a relationship, you know, definitely can attest to the communication factor.
Yes.
Because that is important. You know, you gotta, that communication factor is definitely important. And you gotta be able to, you know, be comfortable with those. And don't feel, and this goes for both people, you know, in the whole dynamic. You can't feel like the other is personally attacking one
Right.
another. Because, and I think that we all avoid these conversations because of the fact that, you know, sex is such a vulnerable thing for us. We're naked for one thing, you know. We're you know, exchanging, you know, intimate, you know, bodily fluids that are, you know, that we hold sacred, you know,
Yeah.
and that we're taught to hold sacred. So it's very, you know, just me and, you know, between me and my lover. But then it's like, you know, still there's still a barrier between the two. You know, you got to feel comfortable with, you know, being on the other side and letting the other person get to the other side. And then, but you can't take offense to it at all, because at the end of the day, the goal is, you know, total satisfaction for the both.
Exactly.
Know? And you got to be willing to, you know, to hear some tough things that may sound tough, but understand it doesn't come from
that's not a
malicious,
challenge.
You know what I mean?
So,
or belittling place.
Right.
It's coming from a constructive place and an honest place, especially if it's coming from an honest place.
Right.
Because certain people may not know how to word things to where it's kind of soft, you know.
Absolutely. So I've been on this whole spiritual thing. So within that, I've been like, okay, everything is connected to everything. Now, if you're in a relationship, like you are in a committed relationship, regardless of if it's monogamous or non-monogamous, you have made a commitment or an agreement with someone that you guys are going to be with each other and whoever else. But that's, pay attention. Just like I said, pay attention to like the sensations that their body give. What you do outside of the bed affects what happens in the bed. Because you can have listened to all their advice about what they like sexually, and you could have told them all that you like. But if you guys have an issue outside of the bed that is unaddressed, that is like toxic in your relationship, that could affect why you are not keeping your partner, or your partner can't keep you happy. And I don't like to use that terminology. That's just how the question was asked, because I think happiness comes from within, not from anyone else. No one else validates my happiness. They can make me feel happy to spend my time with them, but like the source of my happiness has to come from within. But, and for the sake of this conversation, if you are not holding up your end of the bargain in the relationship, whatever was agreed upon, you cannot be upset if your partner isn't giving you 100% in the bedroom.
Oh yeah, no.
And the other way around as well. If you and your partner ain't talking on a regular, you can forget about talking in the bedroom. Like, so pay attention to what's happening outside of the bedroom, and then when the bedroom time comes around, you guys can enjoy it more. Now, I understand people have angry sex. They have, I'm not talking to you, but we're going to screw real quick, and then I'm going to go back to not talking to you because I need this nut.
That's amazing.
It happens.
That's amazing.
It happens, but I mean, for a healthy sex life with your partner and having a healthy relationship, when everything lines up properly, not only will you guys have that sex, but it'll be better. Because you guys will probably still have sex, but the connection is different, the vibe is different. I mean, angry sex can be dope as hell.
Yeah, sometimes.
But it's also possible to have, like, I just love the hell out of you. And I want to give you all of me, and I want all of you. You know, so those are my...
And don't be afraid. That's the thing. Don't be afraid. I think a lot of people get afraid and stuck in their, you know, sexual rut, if you will. That just like the same old, you know, type of touch, the same old type of, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to explore, you know what I mean? Like, and granted, if you have certain boundaries, make those known, all right? And then respect those boundaries for your partner, you know, because that's the quickest way to turn sex into something that's unenjoyable is when you disrespect somebody's boundaries.
Yes.
You know, so, you know, respect those boundaries,
so,
you know, but
example
explore,
for me,
you know.
Example for me, like everyone has a hot spot. One of my spots, I don't like it. I don't like when a person goes and plays in that area. And I tell people, not that area. You can do any and everything. And for me, you know, that's very rare. Because you probably never even heard this before. But there's a spot on my body.
I have not.
Yeah, there's a spot on my body that I don't want touched. at all.
What is it?
Why the hell would I tell you and then tell you live? No. We'll talk off camera. I'll let you know.
Oh.
But like I don't. So there was a person that I was in a relationship with who knew this, and it was torturous to me, and it was no pleasure. We weren't getting into anything after that because I don't like it, and you were torturing me at that point. So when you disrespect my boundary, how can I possibly want to look at you in a sexual way when you disrespected me or you crossed the line that I told you I'm not comfortable with? You didn't consider me. Now, whether you were doing it intentionally to torture me or you thought I was playing, I said no. So, yeah. Make sure that you respect your partner's boundaries. And don't be afraid to set clear boundaries for yourself. It's so, what they say, no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, I love all that, but that, no. I'm giving you 98% of me. That area, no. And if that's not enough for you, then we're not doing this at all.
I figured it out off of that statement.
What? We'll see.
It's a shin.
You are something else, Tony.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, I got it. Then it's my number 2. Then my number 2 is my number 2 pick. I knew it. The back of his knee. Mm-hmm. I knew it. The back of the knee.
How'd you guess?
Cause you're weird.
Yeah. I love it. All right, guys. So we're winding down. It's that time of the show where I have to tell you guys, go over to my website, kevinm.com.
Yes.
And purchase that book. Go ahead and purchase the A Life of Lust. Huh? No. I don't. Right there. Right beside you. I actually pulled both of those. A Life of Lust, Memoirs of the Porn Star, is my memoir chronicling my life from childhood to church to family to HIV, to gay, to HIV, to porn, to everything. Relationships, on set, doing videos, it's all in there. You definitely want to get a copy of that. If you go to my website, not only will you see A Life of Lust, but you will also see the documentary, The Way to Kevin. Right there. So we have both of those things on sale. Now, here's the thing about The Way to Kevin. I have a very limited supply. So first come, first serve. Once they're sold, they're sold. The only time we'll see any more of these is on a very, very, very special edition. So please go get your copy while there are copies to get.
Look what I'm doing with this one. You could own this copy. That's been all on them. Look at that. It's going down into the brassiere.
All right, that's enough of that. Also, go follow us if you're obviously there are those of you who are watching us on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed. Turn on the notification bell so whenever I get ready to we do another video. I am doing the cocktail hour on Tuesday nights. Mm-hmm. You'll get notifications for all of the things that we're giving you guys. If you're on Facebook, still go over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, it's currently mine, but we want to continue to build it up for this show, and we're going to create the GreatMines channel where all of our live shows that were previously recorded will come onto that channel and moving forward. So make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, comment. I think one of the most important things is that you guys share it because there's somebody else who needs to hear how we like to entertain, educate, and empower. Boom. You like how I did that, right?
I like how you did that. That is awesome because that is here. Originator of the 3 E's.
Yes.
Yeah. My guy. Yeah.
So thank you guys again for watching. It's been a wonderful hour and 5 minutes almost. Again, go subscribe. Oh, wait, before we do that, follow us.
Yes.
Follow Stony. You want to go first?
Stony Greatness on our platforms.
You know, I live a double life. So it's King Kevin on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, Facebook and Instagram. And then it's King Venom, King_VYNM, KYNG, by the way. On Twitter and on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I got the website up on the screen already
Yeah.
for you. And then there's like King Venom on OnlyFans and Just
Yes.
for Fans.
Yes.
So yeah, you guys have many ways to find me and content for whatever fits the need.
Yeah.
Am I really crazy though?
A little bit. We was talking about this before on the pre-show on Instagram.
Yeah, on the pre-show on
On the
Instagram.
pre-show on Instagram. We're gonna be going live right before we go live. You know, on Instagram.
Right. And
we
right.
used to be on that platform, but now we're
we're moving everything over here, so
Yeah.
that's how things are going. But make sure you guys are following us on all of our platforms, and we will check you guys out
Please,
every Sunday at 5 p.m.
Every Sunday, live at 5. The Great Minds. All right, we're coming at you. Make sure y'all keep an eye. September.
Yes, thank you.
September.
That's
What
horrible.
is it?
I'm about to go
What
and
is
find
it?
the dates.
I'm terrible. We're going to find the dates.
I'm
here.
doing it right now.
And we're like you know, a part of stuff. We don't even know
Right.
stuff. We're terrible.
And I just had the best conversation with Preston.
Oh, you did? Awesome.
Yes.
We gotta have. It's almost time for ours.
Yes.
Yeah. So as you guys know, we had great. Last summer we went out to Columbus and had a great time at the first Columbus Melanin Pride. It was so awesome and so fun that they thought we should do it twice. So we're going back.
And I am honored.
And we're going to be definitely involved in a lot of the festivities going on there, you guys. So you guys will see the Great Minds there. You guys will see,
September 22nd through the 25th.
September 22nd through the 25th. Mark your calendars. Buy your tickets now to Columbus, Ohio. It is very, very cheap to get to Columbus, Ohio. All right?
Yeah.
so get there.
This is Columbus Melanin Pride. I just want to add my little 2 cents real quick, which is being hosted by Kingsfinity, which are some of our friends over in Columbus. We met them face to face last year. Preston and I have been online friends for such a long time. But we got to get together, and Columbus Pride was different Melanin Pride was different for us because we're used to big cities that have like a huge group of people that come in that are melanated. And Columbus, what they're doing is they're really building from the ground up. They're in the communities, and they're building this community.
Right.
And we see their passion, and we love what they're doing, and we're teaming up with them to make sure that we can celebrate as big as we possibly can.
And the good thing about the people that we're working with is that they're not just about trying to make it just comfortable for the black folks, because you got some black prides and melanin prides and everything that are out there that the city isn't necessarily into it.
Right.
Or anything.
Right.
When I tell you that Preston and the folks at Kingfinity are really trying to cultivate the proper relationships within the community,
Yes.
And that they're working, you know what I mean, because they were pretty welcoming, to us, and it's Columbus is not the most chocolate city in America.
Not at all. But I have said, like, that was one of the most comfortable cities I've been in. Everyone treats you so freaking nice there.
Yeah. So and they're doing all the right things to make it a spectacular event and a destination event that all queer COPs should or POCs. I'm sorry, COPs. Colors of people. But queer people of color, should definitely, make it a point to visit, to support, and definitely mark on your calendars. We'll be there. We're going to have all types of wholesome fun and all types of
raunchy fun. Yes, sir.
So, make sure you're there. September.
Go check them out. 22nd through the 25th.
22nd through the 25th. What's their website?
I'm about to, let's see. I was just about to give their Instagram, but we're going to do the Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Find them at Instagram.
At We Are Kingfinity. WeAreKingFinity.
Yes.
So it is spelled as it sounds. We Are Kingfinity. No special spelling.
All right.
Alrighty.
Support them because you're supporting us, because we are a part of, like I said, Columbus Melon Pride, and we're going to be bringing it to you. So get your tickets.
Yes.
Mark your calendars, put in your days off now. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
Let's go, Black America.
So we are getting ready to go, but before we do, remember we're coming back Sunday at 5 p.m. And if you guys are not doing anything, you want to take an hour with me just to have a drink, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we're going to be doing the cocktail hour with King Kevin. So set your reminders now for Tuesday night, and then Tuesday I'll tell you to set your reminder for Sunday. You get to see us 2 times a week. Well, me, because you're not here on Tuesday nights, but still.
Yeah, no.
All right, guys.
I wasn't invited to the 2-day parties, but okay.
Well, we'll talk about that offline too, along with my spot.
What's it called? What they be doing?
What?
What they be doing? I'm American like you. Or what's that song that they be doing at the end of Drag Race?
That is it.
Yeah?
Yeah, that is it. I love you guys. We love you guys.
Thank y'all for coming.
We'll
God
talk
bless
to you.
Good night.